them to come back. Elders are working on them to come back. So this matter is a temporary issue.
As promised, let us try and link up with Mark Namaso again. Mark, if you can hear me, it's good to see you. We know that you are there at the Huruma Primary in Mathare for the tree planting by WWF. What more details can you give us about this event that comes days after we celebrated the International Day of Forestry?
Basically, Zinzi, this campaign is called Keep Kenya Breathing, and it is an initiative that seeks to bring on board not just the government, but also other stakeholders like members of the public and other organizations in order to drive and push up the tree planting exercise in Kenya in order to show up the numbers so that Kenya can be able to attain at least 10% tree cover. And at the moment, we are doing an approximate of 7.2%, which still is low according to the international minimum. But let's speak to WWF Kenya CEO, Mr. Mohamed Awer, to tell us exactly why they chose to launch this tree planting exercise here at Huruma Primary in Mathare and what they intend to achieve at the end of the day. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Mohamed Awer, as you are told. I work for WWF Kenya as the Chief Executive Officer, and we are really happy to be here today at Huruma Primary School with many other stakeholders, including the media. KTN is very well represented here, Royal Media and others. And we also have the Scout movement with us here today as major partners. And we have settled on this school because if you look at the background, you see that the school is almost bare. And you can even see traces of flooding following the rains we had recently. And these children here actually don't have green spaces for outdoor. And if you look at the background, you realize that this is a high density area and the population here also doesn't have a green environment. So in consultation with a number of stakeholders, we found this to be the most ideal place in terms of giving green environment to a very deserving young community of students here at this school and also the community around here.
Okay, this week the government outlined its plans of planting at least 1 million trees per county in the next coming 5 years. What are your targets and how are you going to work? Are you going to be able to be over and above the government initiative? Are you going to work hand in hand, or how is it going to work out?
What we believe is that it's not just government that should drive this process. The government provides the vision that we need to plant so many trees, but all Kenyans need to come together. From private sector, from the youth, which are the most important category of people, from civil society organizations, and the public at large, because no single category of stakeholder can deliver this on its own. We are very excited about the high ambition set by the government of 250 trees in the next 5 years, based on each county planting 1 million trees, and that translates about 50. But we think that we can even get beyond that into 1 billion trees. And we might not realize these 1 billion trees in the next 5 years as set by the government, but we want to evolve a culture that will lead to a movement that will go beyond the 5 years that is set in the government declaration. So we are really happy with the 250 million tree target set by the government, but part of our support to the government will be to evolve that movement that will get us to beyond 250 to even 1 billion. Trees.
If we look at other parts of the world that have been able to hack it, for instance, in West Africa, there is a drive to plant trees across an 8,000-kilometer stretch, stretching all the way from West Africa to Djibouti. Do we draw inspiration from that example, or are we doing something unique that we have to set an example for others to emulate?
You are right. Others have done big initiatives, and the Sahel countries you mentioned about working on this belt to combat or to reduce the spread of the Sahara Desert. But ours is going to be a little bit, in terms of spirit, is going to be that. But we want to do something more fundamental in the sense that we want to evolve tree planting as a business, where Kenya can earn more than 2 trillion shillings a year from just tree harvesting. And we are not just picking numbers from randomly. We know that a country like Sweden, very small country, has less than 1% forest cover globally, but it accounts for 10% of timber traded globally. And out of that, they earn 120 billion Swedish kronas, which translates to 1.5 trillion Kenya shillings. So with our land mass, we think that we can even triple that number. So what we are working on is, yes, we are inspired by that model in the Sahel region, but we want to go beyond that and take advantage of the opportunities we have in Kenya, that we have adequate land, we have favorable weather, and we can actually produce much more that which can give us hard cash. In fact, we see trees as the goal that we are in Kenya are not harvesting.
Looking at the government's ambitions and what you've explained, that we need to make this sort of a culture that everyone makes sure that there are trees all over. Now, what is the starting point? How much are we starting with as we move forward?
The government has set a very clear plan that every county will be supported to plant 1 million trees a year. Next week, we are going to be in Bomet working with Governor Dr. Joyce Loboso, and we are going to plant 25,000 trees next week. And on the basis of that, if we can be planting 255,000 trees every day, we'll be able to get to where we want. In fact, we should even go beyond 50 because we think that if we plant 255 trees in different places, then we will have 86 million trees planted every day. And that is an ambition that we really want to work towards.
Thank you very much. That has been Mr. Mohamed Awer, the CEO of WWF Kenya, just trying to explain exactly what they want to do today and launching of the 1 billion target tree plantation across the country in the next few years. And just as he has explained, this particular school is bare of trees, just a couple of trees here, and the sun is really hot. And that clearly explains the need that we need to have more tree cover across the country, as we also try to show up the numbers and help Kenya to attain a 10% minimum forest cover across